Yo, what's up everyone? Welcome back to Unscripted for another installment of Best Bets. In today's video, we'll be breaking down the odds and some of my favorite picks for today's day 2 of the LA Thieves home series, and as always, we are doing things off the script. Before we hop in though, don't forget to leave a like down below if you enjoy. Leave a comment as well with your thoughts on the bets and some of your best bets for the day. We can share ideas, help each other out, and subscribe to the channel as well if you are enjoying the videos and want to see more videos from me in the future, because you definitely will. I'll be back again tomorrow and again Sunday with more bets for those days, but for now we're focusing on day 2. And let's hop right in. Oh, and thank you for all of that, by the way. I really appreciate this. The likes, the subscriptions. It's really been going up lately, and it's awesome to see. So thank you all for that. And now let's hop right in. So yesterday was chalked. If yesterday was your first time watching one of my videos on bets, I'm sorry. It was a bad day. Optic, who could have saw that coming? I'm not super surprised that Optic lost the series, but I definitely am surprised they lost the control. So you see that the middle bet there was chalked because Optic lost to control. That is Seattle's 4th control win on the season, so obviously didn't expect that. The first bet did not cover either, of course, because Optic lost, so obviously they didn't cover the 1.5 spread. But Toronto played savior yesterday. They were able to win 3-0 and pretty much save my account on the day. I ended the day almost break even, thankfully, because of Toronto. Without them, it would have been a really bad day. But anyway, the record on the year is 6-5, and that's actually, that's good because it doesn't look that good. But pretty much every bet that I've given so far has been positive odds. So even if we were 500 or even a little bit below 500, we'd still be positive in terms of money, just because the odds have been positive on pretty much every bet I've given. So anyway, we've learned some lessons moving forward. There'll be different picks today. I'm learning a little bit about CDL betting as I go, and definitely will be making changes to the strategy along the way after seeing how yesterday's performance went. So here we go. Let's hop right in. First off, today we will have the New York Subliners versus London Royal Ravens. You see the team records on screen. Of course, New York really known for their hard point dominance. They've been phenomenal at hard point since really they brought Hydra onto the team. 5-1 so far this stage. They are big favorites on map 1 minus 300. That's honestly probably even good value there. I think it should be steeper. Search and destroy. New York, it's not their best mode, but they're still pretty good at it. They are 3-2 so far this stage. London is 0-4. London was getting to be a decent search team, but Zaptius and Zed were 2 of their better search players. Don't have either of them anymore, so no surprise they've been struggling at search. They're 0-4 so far this stage, and then control, which is, of course, New York's bad mode. They are one of the worst control teams in the league. They're 1-2. London also 1-2, and New York still favorites in that map. Decent favorites, honestly. If I'm looking for value in London here, I'm probably looking at the search, honestly, over the control, just because New York, their record's good, but they have still been an up-and-down search team. They've been good, but not crazy good, and London, they've struggled so far with this new roster, so maybe there's not value there. But if I was placing the bet on London somewhere, it probably would be map 2. But as you'll see in a minute here, I'm just sort of going to stay away from London today. And then moving into the much more intriguing matchup of the day, we have the Minnesota Rocker versus the new look LA Thieves. So I didn't get to catch the lines before they announced the roster change, but I think they shifted some towards LA, which isn't all that surprising given who they're putting on their roster. Slasher and Hook are 2 very good players. But it's just interesting because they have not played together. This roster, we've not seen this roster this year. We've seen this same roster with Temp in place of Hook back in Stage 1, and it really didn't go that well for LA. But obviously, different team. Kenny playing great. Hook's been very good, pretty good when we've seen him so far this year. And Slasher is Slasher. That said, Minnesota is 3-2 so far in hardpoint this stage. LA 1-4, but LA is still the favorites in this one. Search and destroy. Minnesota 1-2, LA 2-2. LA the favorites there. And then control. Minnesota 2-1, LA 1-2, and LA also favorites in control, which is a little interesting to me because Minnesota has been a pretty good control team for a while now, and it's just more because LA is a wild card. You really don't know what to expect. It's hard to bet on them when you don't know what to expect out of them. I think, personally looking at this, I would think LA's best, most likely outcome to win is search. I think they have a pretty good search team, at least a good group of players who should be a good search team. TJ very good at search. Slasher coming back. Kenny's been playing well, so they should be a search team, a good search team. That's probably where I'd be looking at them the most, but it's just really hard to get a read on them because you don't know what to expect from them until you see more out of this roster. And then maybe by Sunday, when Sunday rolls around, we will know them a little bit better and have a better idea what to bet on them. So that said, here are the picks. Kind of staying away from the LA series for the most part, so I'll just explain them one by one. New York minus 1.5 at minus 170. Obviously, steeper odds there, so I'm betting a little bit more on that just because the return is lower because it's most likely to happen, basically. However, I still am pretty confident about them. If this was London's old version of their roster, maybe I would not be taking that bet because London, they beat New York before, I'm pretty sure, so they've played New York tough. However, their roster is different, and I think it's worse. That's why I like New York minus 1.5. Even though, their control hasn't been the best, I still favor them even in that map. As you see down below, I have New York 3-0. That obviously is pretty steep odds. The most likely outcome according to the odds for that series is actually 3-1 New York. I think that's like plus 195 or something close to that. So the odds makers are expecting 3-1. I'm going to take a flyer on 3-0 just because I really don't see where London comes up with the map victory. Like I said, it could be Search, but they have not been the same Search team since making their roster change. I doubt it's going to be Hardpoint because New York's so good at Hardpoint, so it could be Control, but I think New York's slang power should boost them to victory in the Control, so I like New York 3-0 as well. And then in the middle, the only bet that I took that includes Minnesota or LA at all, just Minnesota winning map 3. Like I said, Minnesota's been a good Control team so far. I wanted some exposure to that series. This is one that smart money might not be on this. Smart money might be staying away from that series entirely, or maybe the LA Thieves and Search have some value, but I'd want Minnesota map 3. I just think we know more about them than LA, so rather than picking LA to win any map, I'm just going to pick Minnesota, and their best game mode has been Control, so that's sort of how I came to that conclusion. And then I know I said less parlays, but I just threw a New York map 1 for a little bit more value. That takes that from Minnesota map 3 by itself is minus 110. You throw in New York map 1, it comes to plus 155. So I think that's really good value because, like I said, New York should have zero problems beating London in that hard point. So I think that's really good value. Just if that loses, it will be because Minnesota loses map 3. But I was going to place that bet by itself anyway, so I might as well throw in pretty much what I think is almost a guarantee for a little extra value. Now, if that ends up going where Minnesota wins the Control and New York loses the hard point, I will feel stupid for saying that, but also I'd be very surprised. I really can't see New York losing a hard point to London. They really haven't lost many hard points to any teams, and London not really a powerhouse when it comes to hard point or any game mode. So that is how I came to the conclusion of these bets today. Unfortunately, I was made aware that you cannot do same series parlays for any team, so that's what you will not see any more same series parlays. Even though I like some of them, I would continue to do them if I knew you could place them, but you can't, so there's really no sense in me putting them together, which is unfortunate because I like a lot of them and I think it would make sense to be allowed to do them. Like maybe a New York map 1 and a New York map 3 parlay would make sense to me, but you can't do it. So it is what it is. We'll just go without it, and we will try to do the best we can with what we're allowed to do. So that's going to do it for this video. If you enjoyed, don't forget to leave a like down below. Leave a comment as well with your thoughts on the picks and some picks of your own for the day. And subscribe to the channel as well if you want to see more betting videos from me in the future. I appreciate all that. It really does mean a lot to me. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you have a good day today. I hope you enjoy the matches. And I'll talk to you guys in the next video.